My name is Diego Navarrete. I am 15 years old, and I am about to be a junior at Casicanico High School. I was born in Mexico, but my parents came to the United States when I was 2 months old. And then I've been living in Southwest Detroit ever since. After 8th grade, it was the natural step for me to go to Cass because it was a more rigorous school than like the neighborhood school. And that was a complete culture shock within itself. Going from a school that's all Latino to a school that's predominantly African American. Because like growing up, I was just around people like me. So I was like, I never had to question who I was because I was like everybody else. And then when I went to Cass and I realized that, whoa, there are people that are way different than me. And that was when I was kind of like forced to like kind of question who I was, and which kind of made me look back, like I was very uninformed back then. And I think it was that culture shock that really started molding me into the person that I am. In my English classes, like in the syllabus, like the set books that we have to read, like it's like standard, like schools all across the state have to read those books. But then I had this teacher in 9th grade who she tried to bring in more African American literature. Since the class were of African American, she wanted to teach them about their race and their culture. And that is really important because the African American community has struggled for a long time for that their race and their culture could be taught. So reading those books is really important. But at the same time, my race was failed to be taught. Like the immigration of Mexican and other Latin groups to the United States. Like, it's not in the textbooks. Like there's like a whole chapter on the potato famine and why the Irish immigrated to the United States, but yet there's like maybe a sentence on why people from Mexico decided to come to the United States. America is a melting pot. It's made up of different cultures, and I feel like not learning about those cultures is robbing us. Well, I got a lot of questions, like especially my teachers, like, what do you think Mexican people will say about, like I don't have the voice of every Latino in my brain. And I get asked a lot of questions by classmates, a lot of questions made on assumptions, by their parents, by their peers. They've been taught certain things. I mean, they don't know any better, so you can't really get mad at them. So you have to like try your best to just like calm down, like I speak Spanish, not Mexican, like I do not eat Taco Bell, all these type of different questions that you just have to like take your time and like explain these things, because hopefully in teaching them and educating them, then they could like kind of like spread the word. I could just like let them continue living their lives, making these assumptions, not care, go home and just forget all about it. But that's the point. I don't want to forget about it. I want them to be educated. You can't have appreciation and understanding for other races and cultures if you do not have the information and the facts. So I am part of this group. We call ourselves the Fellows because like this fellowship for social justice. We decided to put together a resolution to be implemented into the state school board that demands a civil rights education and diversity learning within schools. So we traveled to Kalamazoo, and then they had it was like the Civil Rights Commission was holding like a forum. So in there, we basically just like shared a few of our stories. The testimony that I said was recently in the newspaper, and then online. And the comments of that newspaper, one of the comments said, "Has this kid never heard of a library?" I could go to a library, and yes, I can educate myself. But the point is that I shouldn't have to do that. That the education system should provide this information to me, not just to me, but to all students. Even if you're Caucasian, you still need to know about all these other races. You still need to know about all these other groups that exist within society, because otherwise you will not be able to fully participate in a diverse global society. Students have the right to an education that is accurate, complete, and includes all races. I mean, I want every student in this state, in this country, to have that education.